Welcome everybody to the late edition of CrossFire Podcast. How's everybody doing tonight? We had a really good. Me and the missus had a little rendezvous to take care of tonight, so I do appreciate the usual suspects and a couple of special guests tuning in with us tonight, a little bit later than usual. Let's start with the infamous, the man, guy who just keeps YouTube alive, Crap Gamer. Thanks for staying up so late, brother. Late edition.
Man, I mean, it's no, I'm just kidding. It's not that late, but it is later than normal, especially like Fridays because I work twice. So it's like, and then I usually come home and do that, and then I can relax a bit because I got to get up early for Saturday. So today it's like I'm up late. I work twice. And I had like this little in between, and then do a podcast, and then go to bed, and then get up early and do the shit all over again tomorrow. But there is actually a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. So there
really is, Crap. That's the
like
reason
the NPD,
I said
the Colin and Greg stuff. I gave you that stuff. I was like,
come
it's
back,
so
King.
funny. Yeah, exactly.
All I'm saying.
You know, I mean, to be honest with you, that's the thing. I was actually going to say, listen, Crossfire's been going on for, God, I don't know how many we've done now, 52, 56, 65. I don't really count them or number them, but to be honest with you, we haven't missed. And I said, this would be a good week where we say, okay, we'll take a week off and relax. But there was just so much content that went on in the past 48 hours. I just felt like we couldn't let this one go, Crap. And this show will kind of bleed right into MNC mornings on Sunday. So let me start by also saying hello to our buddy Xbot448, who I'm convinced hasn't slept since 1979. What's up, buddy? You got to get off mute.
He's probably muted.
He's muted.
I have muted again, man. I was going to start off. I was going to be like Crossfire After Dark. What's going on, guys?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
What's going on, Xbox?
What's going on, Crossfire? There we go.
Bro. Love it. Love it. Well, I got
that's
my
what
two
you
special.
expect. I mean, come on.
Well, that's what he does, man. He's good. He even does that when he jumps in the parties when we're gaming. I feel like I got my YouTube on Snap. So I got my next buddy here, man. This guy, we've been gaming a lot more than we've ever just chilling at night. Last night we got into some deep conversations, which we'll get into maybe some tonight. Livewire, what's up, brother? How you been?
Just chilling, man. Not much, man. I'm tired as fuck.
He's excited.
Listen, I got news for you. Everybody's got to write. Livewire and our next special guest band. We have a reason to be tired. We were up until I think it was 3:30 in the morning, just bullshitting, playing Gears.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Man.
Yo, we sat down. We were playing Gears. Then we're having a conversation for about 45 minutes.
Yep, not even playing shit.
Looking at the menu screen.
Yes.
It was crazy.
It was wild. Speaking of that, the man who's known as Turn That Sound Bar Down, Bam Bam. What's up, bro?
I knew that was coming. What's happening, everybody? What's good? It's your boy Bam Bam 86. I am here on the podcast, Crossfire After Dark. Let's do this.
We're also gonna get Bam Bam to. He is console corner.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of console corner, two things about Bam Bam the audience doesn't know about. They'll get to know. So Bam plays the Division. Everybody, just in case you're not aware. Yes,
here we go.
So talking about deceased games, he plays the Division. But what was funny was, console corner does something that I don't do on this show. Console corner says, "Let's take our time right now, go around the room and see what everybody's been playing this week." And Bam neglected to mention he's playing the Division. Now, I don't personally blame the man because I wouldn't want to tell anyone. I wouldn't even tell my parents.
That game's dead and in the ground, man.
Hey, you know what? Just to be on the good side, you know what? My dad still played Division 2. He a PlayStation fan, so hey.
But listen, I'm gonna give your dad gets a pass though, because listen. Listen, my dad still thinks Zelda was cool. You know what I mean? For years back, so he's older folks. They get in, they fall in line with a certain type of game or genre, and they're not leaving. They're not leaving. So he gets all the respect in the world. You, on the other hand, you know better than that. So
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Don't be a closet gamer when it comes to the Division. You know what? I'll play.
Of course. Of course not. You know I'm still gonna play it anyway. Matter of fact, I actually was going to hop on it and play with my cousin for a little bit. Shout out to my cousin.
Yeah,
Heavy Matitude,
Matthew.
But I looked at the time. I was like, ain't no point now. No. Shout out to you, Matt.
But listen, let's dive into some subjects here because a lot of people want a game tonight, hang out, and I'm very appreciative of the folks that join us. And I do have Clowns who just jumped in. Clowns, is your mic on?
Yep. Can you guys
Clowns? Well, yeah, buddy. What's
Oh,
up?
shit.
Thank you
There
for
you go.
joining us on the late edition of Crossfire Podcast. How you been?
Pretty good. It's my wife's birthday weekend, so
Well, tell her I
shit.
said
Happy birthday to her.
Tell her I said thank you for letting you come and hang out with me on her birthday.
we'll do.
Yeah.
We got that. We got that
You
going
are a
on.
lucky man, sir.
Yes. You are a lucky. I know, right? Because Live's in trouble for doing this podcast.
Oh,
I
shit.
Clowns will pay for it after.
I got stairs
He's not
already.
saying anything yet.
What's good with you, clowns?
Oh man, everything's been going good. Let's go with you guys.
We chilling, man. Chilling
Halo.
like a villain.
Halo. Here we go. Listen.
Halo.
So look,
boy.
I'm going to jump into this head first, guys. Let's get into the PS4 Pro and Craps kind of
Bomb station.
Crap.
Oh,
First of
sorry.
all, I really do hope you take my 2 words seriously when I said return it.
Dude, okay, so that those
Return
no,
that shit.
I told Mooch, it was the first one I told him. I was like, well, there was a lot of stuff going on this week, and I was like, I didn't, I canceled the PlayStation VR. I pre-order pretty much everything, and then I'll cancel it depending on how it is.
Right.
And so there's my surprise that I have this package, and I'm like, okay, so I open it up, and I'm like, hey, Mooch, I got this in a DM, and he goes, return it. And I was like, I don't know, man. I'm thinking I can go 4K, but I'm gonna go 4K HDR gaming. He's like, return it. I was like, bro, come on, man, bro. And he's like, return it. And I was like,
Return
too
that.
late. I was like, man, I already had opened it up and stuff. I was like, look, how many people, if you had gotten that, would have like you get this new electronic, right? You're gonna open it. You know what I mean? I see
Absolutely.
something about it. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
So I was like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. And then
My
I'm
point
sitting
is-
there. I have some games that apparently have the patch or whatever for it, but to my surprise, I'm playing Ratchet and Clank, and it's still no 60 frames per second option, and the motion blur on that is terrible. I just capped that footage literally before I made that video, and I'm like, the game already looked great to me, but the motion blur looks worse.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Wow.
Now, Crap's going to give us some actuals because he's been playing it for the past 24 to 48 hours. But I shout out to
I
Zaire.
put a total of 2.5 hours into it. I'm just saying.
That's all you really needed. Crap. so what you're telling me is you have 45 minutes more play on your Pro than I do on the vanilla PS4. Right
yeah.
now.
I was excited
Damn.
to try it out because I got my TV and stuff too. So, I'm just trying shit out.
Now,
Look,
now,
What
guys,
TV did you get, Crap?
I got a Samsung. Hold on, I'll tell you what the hell it is here in 1 second. Let me see real quick.
Actually, I'm interested to know it too. You didn't rereveal your specs, Crap.
oh, where's
Okay,
the
I
drum
got
roll?
the
Drum roll for this.
This is the KU6290, 55-inch.
Everyone
Samsung.
said that they don't want to talk about. Nobody ever wants to talk about hardware. Nobody wants to talk about T-flops. Yet people are now talking about TVs with 75 letters in front of them. You ever notice that?
I don't know much about this. This thing is, I know it's an HDR TV. It looks good. I got a really good deal at it. Some people were asking me about it. The problem is, you know how it is with YouTube. People get weird and they're weirdos. I don't do a bunch of you guys know me. I don't brag about shit I got. I got the Gears 4 console too. I don't do unboxings because I'm not set up for it. You know what I mean? People are just well, show us this or do this or you got a bum ass TV or whatever. I'm not into all that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't talk about my stuff. So it's for the most part, I just got some stuff and I've just been enjoying it. I've been trying to make that upgrade to the 4K stuff in time for Scorpio, really. And I got a good deal on that TV, and it was a little bit bigger TV than what I was originally going for, but I got such a good deal on it. You know what I mean? So I was like,
well, that's it. You got to strike while the iron's hot. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people should take note to that as we're approaching Black Friday coming up. If you can get a good KS series, like the Samsung KS 8000, 8500, 9000, any of those that fit in your budget and it's a good deal, I do recommend you grabbing one right now. I mean, the deals are insane. They're getting better and better. But, the one thing I want to bring up, and I want to throw this out there for you guys, and I hope you guys tear it up like wolves, is, Zaire did a video of his breakdown, his thoughts on the PS4 Pro. And
Yeah,
I can't
seen
wait.
that,
I can't wait to talk to Z on Sunday about this. Actually, if Z's even listening now, send him the link. The one thing that he said, listen, if you're one of those folks like myself that went and returned my PS4 vanilla, and I got $200 for it, and then I can get that $200 and I can actually transfer that into the PS4 Pro, that's not so bad. Here's my problem, though. The reports are coming in from Digital Foundry right now that your PS4 Pro is not giving you the same amount of play, the frames per second, etc., that your old vanilla was. So you've actually paid money out of pocket for something new, and you're getting lesser of a product.
Mooch,
Does
Mooch.
anybody see a problem with that?
all you're paying for with that, when you talk about the increase in the GPU and all that stuff for the Pro,
Yeah.
they did it strictly to up the resolution. Everything else is either going to go the way of the vanilla PS4 or sometimes dip lower. People are getting shammed out of this shit.
Yes.
To be really honest with you, man.
That's the problem. If this was something where you said it was an incremental, to better the PS4 experience that you guys have all had, and you're like, listen, Mooch, I don't mind paying $200 out of pocket. I'll trade in my old one, got $200 for that, and I'm getting something a little bit better. The problem is you actually took $200 out of your pocket, and people who have the old one are enjoying a better gameplay than you do. Like this is a catastrophe.
It is. You know what? It's stupid. I remember saying this a long time, and nothing against Zaire or anybody, but he's like, it's double the GPU power, and I was like, but the CPU looks like it's gonna hold it back. And I remember saying that, and it's like that turned out it's a bum ass CPU, man.
You know what this is? You know what this really is? It's like somebody who goes to the gym and fucking gets, blocky as hell up top, but his legs is just
got
fucking
skinny ass legs.
that's what it basically has.
Doing
nothing but benching, but he's neglected his legs. And
I totally agree, Live. I totally agree. And Live, you did a hell of a show today. I think you put out there about 34 minutes long. I caught the first 15 minutes while I was driving to the event. I was going,
I caught that too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just put it out there and he put them on blast. Now, Crap, let's talk about another controversy because we're going to be talking about specs of the PS4 all night. What is it? Because I only got a chance to catch the headlines and it was just the banter on Twitter. What actually what happened over at the kind of funny headquarters? They didn't get
they didn't get one from Sony. Yeah, they didn't.
How
get
could that be possible?
Yeah, that's what I said. But they said they were never sold.
Is the world turning over?
Hallelujah!
What the hell?
Maybe they've been Xbox fans all along.
Yeah, well, they said they were like they seemed really salty about it. They were like, we're the #1 PlayStation podcast,
right?
And we didn't get one. We were never sold on it to begin with. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Which I thought it was funny because I believe Angry Joe and Boogie and all these guys got one, but not Colin and Greg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that, they're a little bit salty and they're like, we could buy one with our company money, but we're not going to. We didn't buy one in our personal lives either. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe this is all adding up, right? Crap. We had this show. We talked about it on Crossfire. We definitely talked about it on MNC Mornings too, where we kind of discussed that whole thing where they had that argument with that Andrea girl. And,
Andrea Renee.
And Andrea Renee is married to a Sony executive. And then Colin spent 2 full episodes the week that Greg wasn't on. I don't want to sit here and say bashing because I thought he did a good job of saying why he thought the PS4 Pro was a mistake.
Yeah.
But listen, here's the thing. Boogie makes fun of Xbox every day. And Major Nelson, who doesn't hang out with anybody, went to his house.
Yeah, he was doing some lightsaber battles and stuff, man. Good times.
You know, exactly. Wow. I can only picture Boogie's house smelling like mothballs. But, my point is that...
Oh, my God.
For some reason, I don't know. It's just something I can't get out of my head. But,
wow.
But nonetheless, you have Microsoft that goes and we've always been wondering, why is it that these folks why is it people that actually bash a company get that extra play? You know what I mean? Versus
I have
people.
No idea. I think that's ridiculous, and I think that some things are happening now, and I think for the most part, somebody needs to mute their mic because I can hear their significant other being kind of loud in the background. But, So anyway, this is crap gamer time now. Okay, that's you gotta give me time.
Yeah, sorry guys. That's over here.
That's all right, Cloud.
So anyway, it's interesting because a lot of people are like, well, wait till November. The PS4 Pro is really gonna push those sales. They're gonna finally beat Microsoft in the Xbox One for the first time in 5 months.
Bullshit.
I don't really see that. Lock that in right now. Crap Gamer's saying that shit ain't happening. For one thing, you got all this bad press surrounding it. Who buys an upgraded console for games that play worse? You know what I mean? They should have focused on 1080p.
That is the most backwards shit I've ever heard in my life.
Instead, they got checkerboard though, man.
Yeah, man. I got checkers too, man. I got a checkerboard too. You know what I mean? But come on, that's nonsense. They've been that resolution stuff is going to be the death of them. That's what's basically.
But the biggest issue that they have is because Microsoft has so much fucking backlash for their games not running at 1080p.
Yeah,
Xbox had to make it dummy proof for the devs to be able to make the games as as spectacular as they possibly could be. That's why we got the dynamic resolution and all that other shit, and that's why we got the UWP. So now it's fucking dummy proof for the devs. It's like, look, just make the game once, and it's done.
Yes.
Whereas Sony just thought that because they're Sony, people wouldn't mind going in there and doing it twice. And that's where they fucked up.
Somebody in the chat right now writes, "Don't underestimate the stupidity of fanboys." Now, here's the thing: I do agree with that person because that kind of nonsense goes. But I think at this point in time, with all these reviews coming out, and you're even getting some of the Sony channels, like even the Colin and Greg's, not getting one and not opting to go buy one. This is bad, really bad press, and it couldn't have come at a worse time for Sony because. No offense, and everyone's gonna be like, "Mooch, come on! It's 40 million consoles to 5 Xbox Ones that were sold." So it's like that number keeps getting drastically stretched out the wrong way too. But nonetheless, my point is,
Xbox
Sony
One's down to 15 million. The last I heard.
Yeah, right.
Wow, just like that. Damn, that quick.
Yeah, if you buy an Xbox One, bam, what you didn't realize is a number is detracted. It's actually removed from the tally.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So what that say about the PlayStation Slim? Since we haven't heard any sales on that.
PlayStation Slim, that thing's as dead as the damn PlayStation VR, which by the way is on track.
It's on track.
It's on track.
They got rigs, crap.
They got rigs. Yeah. Hey, listen.
Oh no, it shipped. It shipped like 57 mil. It shipped.
Yeah. You know what? The funny thing is we were talking about that. We get called everything under the sun, and it's funny because when I'm right, I get to sit there and kind of laugh. And here's the thing: the media, they became cheerleaders for PlayStation instead of journalists,
right?
Over the past couple years, and that is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's damage for sure.
Yeah, they're like somewhere along the
last 3 years.
Somewhere along the line, that's what happened. They instead of being journalists and fair and talking about games, they became cheerleaders for Sony for whatever reason. But now you look at what Microsoft is doing, and you can't deny what they're doing anymore. You can't deny it. Look, they're doing grassroots campaign trying to get people to buy the product. They're in Mexico right now. The head of Xbox is in Mexico at a fan fest. They do fan fests all over the world. They're out there meeting and greeting, and you know what I mean. They want people to be on board. They're listening. They listen. You know, the games we want for backwards compatibility, the features we want, whatever it is. The Scorpio itself is them listening to us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We asked for that. So I think that it's a clear difference in which direction these companies are going. And anybody who doesn't see that is a complete goddamn moron. Sony's come out with more hardware in the last 2 months than software as far as AAA exclusives.
In the past 2 years.
Yes. So, I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. They're discombobulated.
Wait a minute. What about don't forget about their AAA exclusive No Man's Sky.
That's true.
That
was a huge hit.
Damn.
That was a hit, all right.
Well, I reviewed that shit. That game, I can tell.
That shit was trash.
This is how you can tell that the media is slanted, and they are sort of the blame. That's why some of them had to review that game even at a 7.
Yes.
That game getting anything more than a 4 is kind, because that game sucks. It is the worst game I played this year, and I think I've played some indie games, a lot of indie games this year. I think I would rather play Soda Drinker Pro, even though that's weird and like makes your mind trip.
Oh wow.
I would rather play that because at least you're not sitting there having to like mine and refuel. Like here's the thing, and I was explaining this to Mooch with that game. What you guys don't understand is it sounds cool. Explore all these planets and this and that. That sounds kind of cool, and that is kind of cool. But when you're out there, you're constantly mining for stuff, for fuel for your ship. But not just that, you got to mine for fuel for your mining laser. You got to mine for your suit and your life support. It's like it's constantly going on. You know what I mean? It's like a constant fucking thing. You can never just chill. Like that game should be a relaxing game, exploring stuff and going. That's what it should be. But they fucked it up, and you know what I mean. That game ended up turning out to be one of the worst games I've ever played. And the fact that they promised so much and Sony threw them under the bus and they lied themselves, and the whole thing's just a big boondoggle of bullshit. And that's what Sony's done best this generation, and that stench is finally starting to reek bad enough to where everybody can smell it.
Let's put it this way.
Come on, Sony. Come on now.
You got to look at
Sony we talking about.
Hey, look, they're losing. Let's just look at the places they're losing now. They're losing in the US, the UK, Australia for months apparently, and we're just now finding out about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're losing in Mexico, Brazil. They're losing in the biggest places now, and a lot in a row.
If you're talking about your dollar, though, crap, isn't the Xbox One S a better spend for you? You get the 4K Blu-ray player in the box. Okay, it's
the cheapest one.
It's the cheapest one. It also upscales. It upscales people to 4K without that's basically what the Pro's doing is upscaling, and it's got a 7 to 11% boost in CPU. Like games are running better on the S,
and it's smaller and it looks better.
Plus more AAA titles this holiday season.
Oh, yeah. Looking across the board. Yeah, I'm looking across the list at the Sony holiday sale games. I don't see nothing. No. Oh, Last Guardian. I see it right there.
There
Last
it is.
Guardian.
That's to
be honest, the big backlash that I think the Pro is going to get more than anything is there's no software to justify its purchase. Right? True. There's no fucking Horizon Zero Dawn that's coming out right when it's launching. There's no fucking God of War that's coming out right when it's launching. So that alone is going to fucking reduce the sales. Like it makes more sense that the Scorpio is coming out a year later. Makes a lot of sense why the games that are coming out as far as like Crackdown, Scalebound, fucking Sea of Thieves, all these games are coming out. And 2 of them are games that we've never really seen before with the new reinvented Crackdown 3 and the Sea of Thieves. These are games that we really haven't had anything to really compare to them. So when they come to the Scorpio, it's like it pushes the reason why you need to buy that console. There's nothing that pushes you to say, game is why you need the game.
That's what I said live when I was talking to Z many months ago. Z was all very, very excited about getting the Pro. Not wicked excited, but he was excited enough to say, I'm getting more and better hardware. And I said, but when you come home and you plug it into the wall, tell me, what are you excited to play? And he goes, you got a point. I don't know. And I said, he goes, well, NBA Live and a couple other games and NBA 2K. Yeah, but I said, those are minute changes. And to find out that the remaster of The Last of Us, the remaster can't handle a 60 frame on 4K native, that's pathetic.
Because it's messed up. What it does is it downsamples 1800p. And then I guess it has problems with doing that. So like the 1080-60 on the standard PS4 actually runs better. Honestly, if you don't like, this is such a small product. Like even though I think 4K TVs are growing, something like 4 or 5% or whatever, this is such a small product that would reach that. Because I'm honestly thinking if you have a 1080p TV, the Pro does you zero good, like zero.
Yes.
You know, and they're using just the same 1080p.
Where was the media crap up Sony's ass with the same thing they did with Phil back in June, saying basically, if I don't have a 4K TV, this doesn't do any good for me, right, Sony? Nobody's asking them those questions.
Hey, they were busy cheerleading, man. They had their Sony outfits on, like with pom-poms and shit. Like,
you know where they was. You know where they was at. They was at where the the PlayStation Slim was. Nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they were not talking about that either, man. They're not talking about that at all.
They were trying to figure out how to send gold-plated PS4 Pros over to IGN. How they were going to?
Oh shit! Damn.
Well, you know, like I said, there's a lot of biased media. I think now what's great is, you know, the audience will always say to me once in a while, they'll say, "Mooch, we know that that's what you said, and this is what you've been saying, but enough's enough." Problem is, enough's not enough, because even though now it's in front of your face and a lot of you are starting to come around, and it's funny, you won't give me or BGST or anybody else any credit for actually calling these people out years ago. That's okay. But what we'll come to realize is that IGN did a review of PS4 Pro this past week. And if you want to go ahead and zoom down to the last 2 paragraphs where they do their verdict, the entire 2 paragraphs are negatives. It is negative after negative after negative. Wow. Then at the end, it says 8.5. Great.
I was hoping that the PS4 Pro would at least do a little bit but it didn't.
Yeah, that's it's funny. Yeah. So I'm driving today and I'm listening to Crap's video, and I said to myself, this doesn't even do a little mo. And that's the problem. We actually thought that was going to be a good joke. The problem is it does nothing at all.
Yeah,
and
truth now, man.
Yeah, Zaire. I mean, you don't believe me? Watch Zaire's video. He says it. He's like, basically, I can't believe that I get nothing out of this hardware. He's really getting nothing out of it.
You know, Mooch, I think I think Crap hit it on, hit the nail on the head when it came to the CPU. They're using the same old Jaguar cores. You could put whatever beefier GPU in you want, but if the data isn't processed fluidly through the CPU to the GPU, you get what they call bottleneck. And Crap hit the nail right on the head with that. You're not going to see such an advancement without an upgrade on both chips. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to happen.
All right, so Xbox, let me ask you a question here. Here's my question to you, buddy. A lot of the Doom dev, which we talked about this on Xbox Nation, the Doom dev said that he believes Xbox Scorpio, which when he's calling out Scorpio, he's also talking about the Pro, I would assume too, should go for titles in the go for 1080p 60 frames and just neglect the 4K situation right now. With that being said, I want to just use that in reference. But what I'm saying is a lot of people are saying, well, if Sony's having a hard time with the Pro, this is something that's going to bite Microsoft in the rear end come later on in the year. It's not. It's not at all. I don't like people making Scorpio references for Pros like negativity.
There's a couple things that I just want to say on this real quick. First of all, the PC elitists out there that try to say, well, you can't do native 4K with 6 T-flops and all that shit. I was like, well, what benchmarks are you using to come up with this theory? Because unless you've seen benchmarks that deal with the Zen processor and the Vega GPU architecture, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right, like these are vast improvements in chips that could extract more, more for the power that you have. You see what I'm saying?
Do you think the devs are going to get a little bit tongue-tied and their hands twisted? Are they going to end up doing the same thing that they're doing with the Pro, with the Scorpio, where you're going to have a high fidelity, a 4K mode, and a 1080p 60 frame mode? Are we gonna run into that? I don't want those. I want the dev to create the game properly and let me play the game the way it's intended based off of the dev's preference. I don't mind if you give me the ability to scale the brightness or scale this and that in the game, tweak it so it looks just the way I want it to look on my screen like PC has. That's fine. But don't give me this 1080p or 60 frames or 4K 30 or high fidelity or because I'm only going to play the game through once. I'm not going to play it twice on two different, you know what I mean? On two different variations.
Yeah. And also...
I can tell you we're gonna get that though. Okay. That's what they're gonna do.
You think we're gonna get that too?
Yeah, we're gonna get the option to do that. That's just I could just tell you right now. That's exactly what they're gonna do. Like I could just that's what makes the most sense. For me, I'm like the simple kind too. Like just give me whatever. Like let it automatically detect what your TV has and then do it instead. You know what I mean? To me,
I think they'll have that in there as well, and you can. If you want to go in and change the settings, because let's be honest here, when it comes to this generation, Microsoft, Xbox, they've been talking about options. They say they're all about options and stuff like that. But Microsoft has an answer with this with devs, and it's called the UWP. And I believe Windows Central, they came out with an article stating that, for devs who do develop their game on the UWP, it is incredibly easy for them to put their game on there, have the Scorpio kind of, the game recognizes what hardware it's on, and it can just go in at the native 4K if that's what the devs.
Yeah, sort of like what your TVs do. It checks boxes. You know what I mean? Depending on what your TV is, I think that the game system should be able to do that as well. Mm-hmm. And I agree. I think that, but again, I would be pissed off if I buy an Xbox Scorpio and that damn thing, a game performs worse on that than the base Xbox One. And I would be pissed off about that too. I'd make a video about it. I don't give a shit. Like if I'm spending
when you're done. Let's go back to E3. What did Phil come out on the stage and specifically said? He said they went around to all the developers, asked them what they wanted. They told them what they wanted, and they said native 4K. Now, if somebody can't do native 4K, like I said, two options: 4K 60, 1080, 1080p 60, either or. But like Phil and them said, they went around to all the developers and asked them what they needed. So they're putting everything into the Scorpio that the developers said they needed. So it shouldn't be no problems. There shouldn't be no excuses once Scorpio comes out.
They're not using that bum ass Jaguar in that thing anyway.
Exactly,
So the CPU,
Exactly.
The CPU is
Exactly.
such a damn bottleneck on that thing. You know, it's like, and I said that,
Yeah.
and everybody, you can look back. Like I was looking back at some of my old videos, like the ones where I predicted. I said Sony's going to announce a PS4 Slim, and I did this like I think 2 months before E3. I said that Sony's going to introduce this year a PS4 Slim and the PS4 Neo or whatever at the time it was called that, and people thought I was crazy. And I said Xbox will introduce a Slim and something but more powerful that will come out next year, and people thought I was nuts. They're like, "You're crazy." You know what I mean? But
you think it's crap? Do you think it's safe to say? Is it safe to kind of say that the PS4 Pro flopped?
I don't know if it flopped. We won't know till, and you know what? We won't even know at the end of November because the PS4 Pro is not the one that's going to be $249. The PS4 Slim is, and they're still going. That's a good casual price. You know what I mean? Like they're giving and Microsoft is going to have one to match that too. So like, let's say that the PS4 does win November. Does it win November on the back of the Pro? I don't think so. I think it might win it on the back of the PS4, the regular PS4 is being discounted, and the Slims being at like a real casual price. You know what I mean? Like Microsoft.
Well, I don't know what's going on over at Kind of Funny, but I'll tell you something else happened. Crap, when you're talking about the Slim here, the Astro A50s, which I'm just hooking up tonight for the Xbox One. I know, right? Took me a goddamn week.
You should just run a soundbar like Bam.
Yeah, just run a soundbar and then just scream
Hey man,
at people.
soundbar the way to go.
Soundbar. But what I was gonna say was, so Greg Miller did an unboxing. Of course, he was doing for the PlayStation brand, and he made a jab. He took a jab at Sony, and he said, "Well, I had to go and hook them up to my old PS4, vanilla, because I have the Slim, but I can't use it because it doesn't have an optical out, and it needs that. It requires that for the Astros." So I mean, that's you. I know everyone likes to make no big deal of when Sony does anything. Like Sony could take the controller out of the box, and people would be like, "That box was too heavy anyway." Yeah. So my point being is like we've got to actually take a look at what everything is here. That optical out is a huge no-no. There's a lot of people that use that for different variants. Some are for headsets, some are for sound bars. My point being is just that's a big time no. I think Xbox still wins November because this bad press that's come out, not just all the YouTubers that are coming out speaking their minds, but the fact that Digital Foundries has so many videos breaking down the faults of the Pro.
Playing.
Isn't that something? I mean, come on, like that's something you just don't see. I don't know what's going on. Sony must have pissed somebody off in the media.
Also about the going back to the PlayStation real quick. Now, all these games that's coming out on the PlayStation Pro, right?
Yeah.
So supposedly the frame rates is going down.
Because they're more worried about the resolution.
They're more worried about resolution, yeah.
Frame rate's going down and the resolution is going down. But hold up, didn't we hear like a week ago or 2 weeks that this got 8.4 teraflop? So if you got all that, this stuff should go up with no problem, right?
Can I get in on that?
Yes. I just wanted to throw that out there because I would have sworn if that was the case, they should be up to 1080, 4K, all that with no problem.
Everything.
Yo, check this out. I did research on that 8.4 T-flop thing, right? Now, this whole 16-bit float that they were talking about, it only works with certain things within game development, and I'll give you a couple of them. Anti-aliasing. It can improve anti-aliasing. It can improve lighting. One of the biggest things that they cannot do with this is textures. Textures have to go full 32-bit through. All right, there's no way in hell, and textures eat up so much of the code in game development and stuff like that. There's no way in hell that you can actually claim that the PlayStation 4 Pro is an 8.4 T-flop machine. It can't do the big commands for these games. It can't do it with those half floats that they were talking about. It's complete bullshit. Yeah. Cerny is sniffing his own glue again, and it's
sniffing the white lines.
People let him say this stuff. Yo.
Xbox. Let me ask you this then. And Crap had talked about this for a few seconds on Xbox Nation. I want to see if anybody on this panel can elaborate on this. Albert Pinello came out and said that the Xbox One S is capable of doing 4K indie games.
I've seen that. Yeah.
If that's feasible, do you think we'll see anything like that? And I mean, is that, or do you think that's just Albert trying to throw a little mud back the other way?
No, because if you
I don't think he'll make that up. No.
Hey, if you remember, Frank O'Connor said that the Xbox One, the current one, the launch one, could have done Halo 2 Anniversary at 4K, but they chose to run the two engines over top of each other and the buffers and stuff like that, which made it impossible to do. But so yeah, you could have. I think that that's quite possible. You know what I mean? And I think that like he mentioned specifically like some of those side scrolling games and stuff like that. So I think that that's quite possible. And I think that it's already been announced that all the UWP Windows games are going to be 4K as well on the Scorpio. So probably some of those might even be 4K on the S as well. So I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like World of Tanks or some shit like that could be in 4K.
World of Tanks is HDR.
It's HDR now, yeah.
Yeah, it's HDR and it has 4K textures.
Yes, it does.
Because you figure indies don't take a lot of data, so 4K should be no problem.
I got a question. Crap on his video today made a point, and to a certain extent, I do understand where he's coming from. A lot of other viewers and folks in the audience might not agree with Crap, but I kind of saw his point. Crap, you made a point today to mention that the 4K 1080p thing for you in your eyes it's not drastic enough to where you're wowed. But let me ask you this: have you noticed a difference with HDR? Is HDR the real winner? Is that the real game changer over 4K?
I think HDR looks great. I mean, you know, I don't know. Like,
you see the difference when you played Forza 3 Crap before and after a 4K TV? Do you see the HDR making it a difference?
Yeah, like especially with like some of the greens and stuff, specifically, or like the beach or whatever. I think that you can really tell the difference then. I like any kind of the jungle situations and things like that. It looks really good. I think that it is, to me, that might be a bit of it's hard saying because I haven't really gamed in 4K a lot. So, but I think everything looks great. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this whole stuff with the consoles could like, if they both don't, it's hard saying. The PS4 Pro is a half step.
It's a
boss. Scorpio. Yeah, people are expecting that thing to be, and this is not a fanboy thing because I have it. Like some people got mad. They're like, "But crap! But you swore up and down, blah blah blah. You're pro Xbox." I'm like, I own everything though. You know what I mean? Like I do.
They ignore that from you though, man.
Yeah, they do. It's like I don't know. It's
they
like,
didn't see that part. No.
Yeah, it's like if you follow me at all, you know that I have a Wii U as well. I own 32 Wii U games or something, 34. I only own 10 PS4 games. So, yeah, I have a preference. I own 400 Xbox One games, you know. So for me, this was just something that like I was gonna see how it was gonna go, and like I wish I would have been able to get that NES Mini or a couple of them because I would have sold one on eBay. You know what I mean? Like that was like the whole thinking behind the PS4 Pro, and I did the same thing with the PlayStation VR, but I ended up canceling that.
Right.
But I just think that this could blow up in everybody's face, Sony's and Microsoft's, if it's not impressive.
Well, the thing about Microsoft is I think we can all know that the day that we bring home, and I said this last night to Live, and I said it to Bam, and I'll say it to the audience right now. I don't care. Like, if Microsoft literally just sold me a Scorpio, and I can come home, and Rod Ferguson flips the switch and says, 4K 60, everybody. If I can start playing Horde mode and the actual campaign in 60, that's enough of a game changer alone for this guy to go buy that box. Now, Sony made these promises, gave this list of 35 games, and some of them can't hold up, which we found out with like The Last of Us. Some of them, the games are just, people can't even tell the difference. And I really do. I got to give a shout out. Please do go listen to Zair's video today. Zaire did a whole thing on even Rise of the Tomb Raider when he popped the two games in between the 4K. And he said, I was just expecting more, and I didn't get it. And this is just, I think this is we are going to be watching over the next 6 weeks of the holiday season a collapse. I think we're going to see a collapse. Now, people are going to turn around and say, well, Mooch, look, PS4 may have won November. But listen, just because they won, Sony has numbers to their investors. And I don't think they're going to hit those numbers. I think they're in trouble. I think they're in a lot of trouble. They suffocated their own Slim out of sales. Nobody wants a Slim. I think people right now are either thinking about a Pro, or if they don't have one, they're looking to get a used vanilla for cheap.
Hey, Mooch, I got to ask you a question, man. When it comes to what Sony's doing this year around the holidays with putting out 3 pieces of hardware with really no software, you know, and you know, just like everybody on the panel knows, software is where you make money in the gaming industry.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
we know the media is kind of like, they've been for Sony this entire generation. Dude, sometimes it just looks like Sony is trying to kill themselves. Like the media can't even like keep up with them anymore to try to spin it.
You know what, Xbot, I know exactly what you're saying, and you're actually correct. And this is what, if you want to go back, I told you, I always keep my ear to the ground. Sometimes you have to keep your enemies closer. Here's the point. I watch that Kind of Funny channel a lot because I do think that sometimes when they're not on their fanboy high horse, they actually do some good coverage. And when the PS4 Pro was announced, Colin went in, and he went in hard. And he went ham. Yeah, he shook his head, and he said, to be honest with you, he said, this is kind of a shot in the foot to Sony. Sony was riding high with the PS4. They just had to come out with a slightly better Slim, which is what Microsoft did, he said. He's like, you should just do what Microsoft did, made your 4 a little beefier, and just ride out the rest until the PS5 was ready to come out. This is a cluster because now you have all these parents, you have kids, people wanting to upgrade, Christmas coming around the corner. People don't know what the Pro is versus the regular versus the Slim. The average Joe doesn't know. And I'll tell you, that's a problem. And Sony's confused. And now the PSVR, I don't know if Jamie, shout out to Jamie Moran. He sent out a GIF just a few minutes ago saying that Office Simulator was the #1 PSVR game downloaded. Now, if that's true, how in trouble is this VR experience that people can't wait to put it on and go back to work? What the hell is that? Is it safe to say that the PlayStation 4 Pro just does a little bit?
Mo, it doesn't even do.
I don't even got that. I was just gonna freeze and say I got nothing. I got nothing.
The thing about this situation that we're seeing right now with video games is, it's so fucking funny how it mimics what we're looking at in the political world.
Yeah, it does.
The media really try to dictate what we think, and they try to push out this agenda. And just 2 days ago, we were just surprised by how the election turned out based on what the media pushed out and tried to push into our heads of what should be the outcome. But guess what? People are now voting with their fucking wallets.
Yes.
And saying, look, man, we're tired of the bullshit. Sony is full of shit.
Yep.
And we're realizing it. And that's what
two things live, and you can relate the gaming to the political. We found out that Sony's full of shit, and we found out that the media is full of shit. Yeah. Because the gaming media has been telling you since the beginning of 2013 that Sony's for the players. Greatness is on the way.
I gotta say something, Mooch. Like, how the media had all those polls prior to the election about who was winning and all this nonsense, and it wasn't true. Anyway, they just made up numbers. Maybe Sony's been making up the NPD numbers as we go along as well.
You know what? Let me tell you. Well, you know what?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I won't go as far as say NPD. You know what I'll say? Clowns, I'll meet you halfway on that. Me and Crap been saying this for a long time. Their numbers are all over the place as far as shipped, sold, under the table, over the table. They've got numbers all over the place. They went from 40 to 47, 43, and now we're somewhere between 43 and 45. Which one is it, Sony? Here's the thing. I've been saying this for a long time. They're smoke and mirrors, folks. They just did an E3 show. Tell me this, everybody, in case you just think I'm full of shit. They just did an E3 show in June where they showed you games coming in 3 to 4 years. What are they going to show us next year at E3? The games coming out in 5 to 10 years? Like, what is it going to be?
More VR experiences, man.
It's going to be a lot of VR experiences.
Yeah, it's going to be TBA.
I was hoping that they would release a new simulator for PSVR. Maybe like you could work in a call center in India. That'd be kind of exciting.
Oh shit!
Oh, there it is.
So is it safe to say that Sony rushed the Pro out? Maybe they should have waited.
Well, they think, and I know Crap will agree with me. I'm interested to see what the rest of you guys think. They rushed it out, but they thought they had Microsoft pinned to the corner.
Yeah, they did, dude. Yeah. They didn't really know about the Scorpio or whatnot. No. They didn't know when it was going to come out or anything like that.
I think Crap knew about the Scorpio before Sony did. To be honest with you,
I think when that E3 happened and Sony found out about the Scorpio, I think that time when they found that out, I thought they should have pushed it to next year. Most of the
Sony execs, once they got done with their E3 conference, they rushed the hell out of there afterwards. They didn't even want to be around. They got caught like with their pants down. They got caught so much by surprise, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Now this is the one time where us going second isn't really going to pay shit for us. And as soon as they were done with the conference, most of the Sony executives just took the fuck off and they ran. They absolutely ran.
It was like Sony's trying to sell you a fucking bike with training wheels, telling you these training wheels will make your bike run faster. Like this shit is like bullshit to me, man. I just don't. I don't know.
I think they should have waited. I think they should have waited to release that.
You mean the Pro?
Yeah, the Pro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is though,
once they found out about it at E3.
Wait till release it. The problem is though, Bam.
Money's out.
Yeah, the money's out, but B, I'm guilty of this too. I mentioned it, and then we jump right back to the hardware specs again. We are neglecting to look at the true problem here. Sony's had no games, and the minute you say that, you get all the Sony fanboys start talking about Godzilla and Persona 5. I'm not talking about Tropico 17 or Kawasaki Dragon.
What about Sword Art Online, man? What about Sword Art Online?
Mooch, not for anything. If Sony was so confident about these titles that the stables come out with, how come we haven't seen a PlayStation commercial with these titles headlining in it? But
I got the answer.
Call of Duty, Destiny, and stuff like that. We don't see freaking King of Fighters. We didn't see Attack on
that Last Guardian trailer though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that shit was terrible.
Going back to
the
thing that you guys mentioned, the reason why they showed games coming out 3 to 4, 5, 6, 25 years from now is they hired a symphony to put you to sleep so you wouldn't pay attention. So next year they showed you all over again.
Here's the thing. Sony is reactionary. They reacted to what Microsoft did. They were like, Microsoft did their conference in 2013. Sony reacted to that. They had something like 8 hours to react. Like Jack Tretton's in the back in the PS4 box. Oh, let me dig out the camera. And you just see him throwing shit behind him. Like, okay, how can we lower our price?
He's
because
right.
they were gonna be the same price. If you look at the slides and shit, that's like last minute shit. Hey, let's put out this old slide, and it looks like they fucking just doodled a $3.99. You know what I mean? Like they were doing everything they could.
I've never seen anything that was like me and you rushing in high school to get a book report, and then just like running up on stage with you holding a sign behind my head as I presented it. It was the most that's $1 billion company, folks. Yeah. Okay, $1 billion company. You had Sony with all that money coming out, Jack Tretton coming out in a $15,000 suit, yet the sign behind him looked like it was made with a kid with a black magic marker. Yeah. Like, you have to understand they were reactionary, and they've done it again in this instance. They look so bad.
Anybody can sit there and take shots and try to look like the White Knight, but eventually, if you're not going to come out with your own stuff and forge your own path and be a leader, nobody's going to follow you.
Look what they did this E3. Yeah. They pulled. Why do you think they had 15, 20 minutes of nonsense at the end? They were going to show one of their consoles. They got showed up.
Yeah,
they got showed up.
You know what?
Sony got comfortable. That's what happened.
The funny thing is, it really reminds me of what I did at work. I worked for a sensor company, right? And there we had a head engineer, and he basically does the AutoCAD, and he puts in where the sensors have to be for you to do a pressure mapping sensor. But the way we were building it wasn't based on HD; it was on standard before we got to HD. But the thing is that I think it was like 6 months later, everybody in that industry was moving up to HD, but we had already ordered the chipset for everything that goes into standard. So instead of wasting all this money throwing all those sensors out that we already built, that costs about a good $25,000 because it's a smaller company. Mm-hmm. We had to basically create an algorithm that basically mimics what that sensor should do.
Right.
And that's what it seems like what we're getting here with the Pro. It's not accurate, so they're just trying to mimic what they can.
Mimic it. Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, listen, here's the thing. So I don't know if it was Bam that just said it or I couldn't who said it, but someone said,
they got comfortable.
Well, Sony's getting comfortable, right? Here's the reason Microsoft won't get comfortable. It's called social media. Everybody, Xbox fans, Xbox haters are so far up Microsoft's ass, right? These guys don't even get 5 minutes before the minute we get a couple of games on backwards compatibility, we're like, that's so great. Thanks a lot. Now, what about this one? You know what I mean? It's like, we don't even. So that brings me to my next subject. Guys, backwards compatibility's become a subject here. It's become a subject that Microsoft has in their arsenal. There's 300 games thus far. There's more coming this month. We recently listen. Do you understand? Does anybody understand how to value a dollar bill? If you go pick up a $250 Xbox One S this Black Friday, you're supposedly going to be getting the Battlefield 1. You'll get Gears of War 4. You'll get an extra controller for $250. And then for $30 more for a year, you'll get Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and the other 17 games in the vault. Listen, my point being is this. Microsoft is giving you nothing but choices. It's been consumer friendly since day one, giving you EA access, backwards compatibility, the best online. The community, of course, is much better. It's much more alive. Even, you know, what was funny, in case you don't believe me, because, you know, everyone knows my stance on PlayStation. How about Greg Miller on his latest A50 wireless headset? They were like, well, how's the boom mic? And he goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't talk to anybody on PlayStation. He's like, I just play my games. He said that.
What?
Right hand of the Lord. So my point being is, it's a lonely station. It's a console you get, you plug it in, you turn the lights off, and you hope nobody talks to you. You know, that's the way it is. Where last night we got on, me and Bam were just bullshitting. All of a sudden we had 16 people in the chat.
Yeah, Mooch, like
just like that.
I was
just like that
last night. Like, you know, you had people. We were all in a party together, and then, you know, people decided they were gonna go play Gears. Yep. Everybody else decided that they were gonna go play Battlefield 1. Yep. Like, we were talking all before time, and then we split the parties, and then you went off on your Gears thing with your people. Yep. I went over with Fox and Remix, and a bunch of others, and like, it's just, the community is absolutely amazing on Xbox, man.
The community is alive on Xbox.
It's alive. It's become a strength. Okay, so I guess my point being is, when people are like, well, you know, Microsoft can get they might get to what do you call it there, rest on their morals, and when they finally climb back up, I don't think they're going to get away with what because Microsoft was riding a high horse with the 360 for a while, but social media wasn't what it was back then. And I don't think
it's a whole different ball game.
It's a whole nother world out there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what do you guys think? Crap, what's your take on Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 for free if you have EA access, downloaded digitally, which is not available in the store?
It's not just Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, man. They put Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the first Mirror's Edge, in there as well.
That's right.
The UFC 2 is going in there. Like, to me, they're doing so, like, and I'm thinking, damn, because I wanted to play Mirror's Edge Catalyst, but I've got so much else going on right now as well. You know what I mean? And it's like Mass Effect. I'm definitely gonna go back and play through those 3 games before the next one comes out. I know that they're not exactly related, but just to get you in the Mass Effect mood or whatever, for me, that's a gimme. And plus, like, the DLC and all that stuff. Like, yeah, come on, that stuff, that's great. That's one of the best series there is.
And I was going to say, crap, I've been playing Skate 3 like all day today.
I'm waiting to see if that goes into the vault, because it's like $10, and I'm like,
$10. $10. I was talking to Tim Dog. Tim Dog's a big fan of it, and I said, Tim, I'm going to check it out. But I guess my question is this, and I was asking Tim this too. Like, everybody in the internet lost their minds yesterday. They lost their minds. They're like, so we're getting Skate 3. We're getting Skate 3. And I was like, what? Like, cryo chamber was I fucking locked up in when Skate 3 was a big deal? What did I miss?
I don't know. That shit was trending on Twitter all day.
It was all over the place. I'm like, what happened? What is this? I'm like, isn't it? You know what? I went right away and not only Googled it, but I also went to YouTube and checked out a couple of videos on it. And I'm like, it looks like a Tony Hawk knockoff.
Well, no, here's what it is. Like, back when Skate first came out, basically the only other skateboarding game you had was Tony Hawk, and Tony Hawk it fell off a cliff. All right, so EA came in and they actually gave a quality skateboarding game, a more realistic skateboarding game, and it developed a cult following, but it also developed a following of people who, like, it's a skateboarding game and it's pretty much the only quality one out there. So you might not have heard a lot about it, but if you did have it and you went in to play online, you were guaranteed to always go in against other people. The active user base on skate titles is absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what it is, man.
At least you explained it to me, because people were like, oh my God, I think Mike Barr is going to give us Skate 3 today. And I was like, what? I'm like, Skate 3?
Like, I didn't even know what that was.
I talked to some people, I think live. Remember, we were talking about last night. Bam, we were talking about last night. And I'm like, were you guys pumped about that? And they were like, nope. I was like, okay. I was like,
Yeah,
I thought maybe
my brother's a Tony Hawk skate dude, and I remember those conversations with Mike when he was like, yo, skate is like, because you know what skate is? Skate is like the 2K version of skateboarding, like where Tony Hawk's is like NBA Live, where it's real, you know, fly in the air and do all this crazy shit. Skate is more grounded, and people like the more simulation feel to skate versus Tony Hawk.
I can respect that. I mean, I was never a big SFX fan. I didn't like that stuff. The X Sports stuff, that's never really been my cup of tea. You know, I'm a little bit more, you know, call me traditional, call it what it is. I like baseball, football, basketball, you know, even hockey. That's just more my style. Once you start being like, Mooch, you going to pick up that new snowboarding game? Probably not.
Not.
You know what I mean?
It seems like it'd be fun for like a playthrough, but like to own.
Listen, if I stop by your house, you got a 70-inch television live, and you got fucking Skate or SFX up on there, and we're drinking bullshit, and everyone's hanging out and being loud, and I'm gonna try and beat your time. I'm all about it. But to say that I can't wait to come home on Friday night, pick up a 6-pack, tell the kids, put the kids to bed, and get down here and play some Skate 3, that's probably not gonna happen in the Mooch household. I'm just gonna throw that out there ahead of time.
Shit.
Listen, guys, you know what else we got? We got the NES Mini. Now, Crap touched on it as far as buying it and selling it on eBay, but let's forget about the profit to be made. This thing sold out today. Now, I have my NES from day one in my house right now, completely covered and protected from dust and all that stuff. And I've got about anywhere from 85 to 100 games in the house. I have more at my parents' place. I brought these with me because I thought my kids would like it. I hooked this thing up maybe a year ago, and we spent a good 2-3 hours going through all the different cartridges and playing the different games. My kids could give a shit, by the way. So I guess what I'm wondering is this nostalgia is a hell of a drug coming up and through to a lot of people that are older and feeling like they should pick this up? What's the whole thing going on?
Exactly what it is. Like, to be honest, like, this is something that you get for $60 and be like, oh, you know what I can see doing? Getting drunk with my friends and partying and playing these little games that we played like 20, 30 years ago. Like, that's what this is for. This isn't really for somebody. I mean, unless you're a real retro gamer and just only play these hardcore retro games. Yeah. I don't see many people like really playing it. I see people buying it, but not actually playing it.
And you know what, Live? Well said. Well said. Now, Clowns, if you don't mind, Clowns, can you get into I caught a good amount of 4 Guys with Quarters yesterday on my drive home. You were talking about something called Raspberry Pi. Can you just let people know, Clowns, about like what that is and what Nintendo really just isn't this mini NES just basically a Linux box?
Yeah, I mean that's all it really is, man, is that Kotaku pulled it apart. And I predicted this, I think, like 6 months ago on 4 Guys with Quarters. I said to Inferno, I was like, I bet you this thing, Nintendo looked at the Raspberry Pi, they saw the Retro Pi, took the Raspberry Pi, threw it in a 3D printer, made a fancy NES console, used the USB ports, HDMI output, put their own software on there to upscale some of the games, and it's just ROMs. And that's all it really is like maybe for them a $10 Raspberry Pi board in bulk.
Yeah.
Thrown into this 3D printer thing. I mean, anybody could get a 3D printer, probably make the same thing.
Yeah, that shit is real cheap. We use that for some pro batter shit when I was at my other company.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't see nobody playing that Nintendo for like 2 weeks straight. Yeah, I say nah, it ain't happening. Maybe a couple days, a day or two at the most, but ain't nobody going in hard on that.
But to say, but to say what Mooch loves to say with the whole nostalgia is a hell of a drug, you got to admit Nintendo is like the king of nostalgia when it comes to this, because they got people running to the gaming store and trying to get this little NES and stuff like that. It's kind of funny to kind of sit back and watch it, dude.
It's not just the idea. It's not just the idea that you can play these games on your PC or emulate them or ROMs or anything like that. It is the nostalgia factor. It is the fact that this is looks like an NES and it's HDMI in, which is the first time that you can just hook these things up to your TV and it's HDMI. I mean, that's much crisper and clear. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, let's be honest. So
crap.
I wanted one, but they sold out in 1 second on Amazon. 1 second.
Damn.
Nintendo all throughout the years was the biggest campaign against ROMs in general. They're the ones taking down ROMs, copyrighted ROMs, all this hoopla. And then they took these ROMs and like, oh wow, this works. We'll just modify this, throw it on our system, sell it in Virtual Console. We'll make money off it. And then they saw the Raspberry Pi and they're like, wow, these guys are buying Raspberry Pis for like $30 and making 3D kits out of them with Sega Saturn, all this fancy stuff. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to throw all these illegal ROMs that we prosecuted on there, just modify with our software, put them on there, and we'll sell it, and we'll just stop going after these people. We don't want them playing it on the PC. We want them playing them on our $60 little box thing.
Yeah.
We'll make the prints limited so people go insane and they all want to crowd to the stores and protest to get them.
But the funny thing is that I would much rather have that thing than play it on some knockoff. You know what I mean? Like I could just put the NES Mini like in my entertainment center and I'm good to go.
Yeah, you know clowns, clowns. I gotta say this, and don't get me wrong. A lot of my friends, especially with the schooling I went through in college, a lot of my friends have the mentality that you have. A lot of them, and even now they'll write me. But I am in Crap's camp. Just call me a sucker. You know, like when you got to remember something. When I was young and I was a teenager, that was when oh Lord, what was that music ripoff? The first one there,
Napster.
At Napster. When Napster kicked off, I'm not going to say no, maybe a title or two, but I preferred to go buy the disc and have the artwork and everything. I just liked owning it myself. So like the fact that I could probably get, you're right. I listened to your analogy last night with Raspberry Pi and what you can do. You can get way more games. You can add to it. And there's so much more shit you can do. It's very appealing to the ears and to the wallet. But I actually, if I was, which I'm not in the market right now for that NES Mini. I do think it's cool, but I would actually rather get the NES Mini to have the whole nostalgia of the look of the thing and feel. So I'm kind of in Crap's camp with that. I've always been that kind of consumer. Don't get me wrong. The consumer I'm talking about, you do lose a couple extra dollars out of your pocket because you're paying for the aesthetics. But I mean,
but Mooch, are you like trying to rush out there and get it as fast as possible?
Well, that's the thing. We all know as sure as shit by February that thing's going to be $25 somewhere, right?
That's why I'm sitting back and waiting for this whole craze. They're all games I played before.
You played them a million times.
You know, I like the fact that it'll actually be full screen on my TV. And I was actually in a party with Remix X Essence and Dark Optimus talking about this. Yo, the fact that it goes onto your screen and it gives you the choice to have it full screen on your TV is really awesome. But I'm not going to go and fight somebody's grandmother for it right now at a GameStop, you know, right down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like buying Rare Replay. I mean, a lot of people bought it, but do you see anybody on Xbox really playing that right now? Any of those games?
Nope.
No. Because nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
It was a hell of a drug.
What about that,
those 3 days.
That Atari collection, man? You know, just same thing.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, but
yeah, like a lot of those games.
How many games is it?
Huh?
How many games is it on that Nintendo Mini?
I think it's like 30 and counting or something.
Oh, 30?
It's 30 games.
30
okay.
games.
But you can download more or some shit like that.
You know, I'm waiting for those Craigslist ads to pop up where modders took this actual NES Mini, opened it up, and added more ROMs to it and threw it back together and like, oh, here's a NES Mini with 90 games on it. I'll sell it to you for $600. I'm waiting for that. I'm predicting that right now, Mooch, on this show. I'm predicting.
Well, these things are going for $400 on eBay right now.
That's crazy though. Crap. Come on. I mean, you know, these things. I mean, look, I will say this much. So you know what? Something. I think Inferno said it yesterday. Clowns. So my son, because you know, listen, when kids want something, it's ridiculous. Anyone who's a parent that's listening knows this is true. When a kid wants something,
I'll just real quick. I'll tell you right now. I'm looking at eBay right now. There's one that's listed for $1,500 and it's got 10 watchers.
Well,
hell no.
Evo posted one for $2,000. I was like, oh my goodness.
Sheesh.
Here's one for $999. It's got 18. It's got.
Only rich people want to spend that type of money.
Well, hear me out. I like to break things down to dollars and cents, right? So we were talking about this. Excuse me, I wasn't. It was Four Guys with Quarters, and I think Inferno mentioned it. They were talking about the breakdown of the dollar of the NES Mini, and it's $60, right? My son, all these kids are going wild right now. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. But my son comes up and he's like, "Dad, you know that NES we have downstairs?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, I have the gun, but for some reason, I have been unable to locate my game of Duck Hunt. And so he goes, the kids were all playing that, and my buddy was playing it at his house. Maybe they just broke it out of the old closet too, or whatever. And so I went to the store, one of the used game stores in the area, and it wasn't GameStop because they don't have it. I went to like this near me. It's called J Street Games. They're pretty big actually for a small independent mom and pop video game ownership. And I said, "Hi, do you have Duck Hunt?" I'm like, I'll purchase it. My son wants to play it. I have the gun already. I'm like, so he goes, "Well, I don't have Duck Hunt alone, but I have what Microsoft put out, or Microsoft, yeah, right. Nintendo put out as the Duck Hunt / Mario Brothers combo. It's the 2 games in one cartridge." And I said, "All right, I'll take it." He goes, "Okay, that'll be $19.99 plus tax." I was like, "Put that shit." I go, "Put that shit away." He goes, "What'd you just say, sir?" I said, "Put that shit away." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "That shit wasn't $20 in 1986. Get out of here." So my point being was, I think Inferno said, for a couple of if you were to go buy all those 30 games as cartridge, because I already own the system, like $60, if I can bring that home and then play Duck Hunt, it's actually cheaper.
If you look at the prices of the games that are included on that, it's around $500 worth of games. Like if you were to get the actual cartridges,
how much crap?
It's about $500.
Right.
Like the Zelda stuff is really expensive. All that, and what's funny is I used to dabble and sell some retro games back in the day. About 10 years ago, I had like an eBay store and stuff because I used to go around and like pick up this stuff cheap and then sell it. I couldn't give away those Mario Duck Hunt combos. They were 99 cents. Yeah. Right. I mean, like I had like 25 of them and nobody would buy the damn things. So now, like here's the main problem. You can tell. Like a store, like a store that's going to sell retro stuff, they'll sell stuff that's not that's not a limited game. Like Mario Brothers 3, that's not a limited game. They're a popular game. They're not hard to find. You know what I mean? But people price them like they're hard to find. You know what I mean? Like that game will be like $30-$40 at a store. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it is. It's insane because and that game sold so damn well. It's like it sold something like over 20 million copies. So it's not like hard to find, but it's like people associate like those type of games. It'd be like saying Gears 1 because it was so popular would be like $150 game now. No, like you could pick that up for like $4. You know what I mean?
I gotta say this real quick while we're on the subject. Is just out of curiosity, I just went and looked online, used a 3D printer to make a mini NES. Well, somebody has already made one prior to the mini NES coming out, and he put the diagrams online. Yeah. He even made diagrams how to make mini cartridges to stick into this with NFC so that it loads the games right away instead of you having to go through the emulators and pick the games. This is insane. This is exactly the type of ideas that Nintendo steals to resell their products.
Right. I mean, listen, this is definitely a money grab for them because to be honest with you personally, even though Crap did mention the $500 value as far as retail value, my point is if Nintendo wanted to do something that was a fan service, for $60, they could have put, 100 games on that thing or leave it open so that we could purchase other games for $1 or $2, and they made it a closed system. Nintendo's got a lot of these companies got to stop with this. I mean, here's the thing. I get it. And for business, it makes a lot of sense. It really does. But in all honesty, people are tired of it. People want universal. People want ability to have open system. I'm noticing that more and more. And if you don't think so, Microsoft used to be very strict with that whole thing. And they've gotten a lot more lenient in their years. And Apple is extremely closed system. And I think that eventually, not now, they're going to have to open up their ways because they're very closed-minded with that and buy my product only because my product only works with my product. And that's fine because let me tell you something. It makes you a bloody fortune. What if you bought a pizza from your local fucking pizzeria, but you can only eat it on their paper plates? Holy shit. I mean, come on, man. I mean, realistically, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we're at a point right now where that just doesn't fly anymore. It is what it is. But, I mean, who here is planning to get this thing, whether it be at the $60 value?
I tried to get one.
Okay,
I'm not even going to bother to get one, sir.
I tried to get one.
You did crap no avail then?
Yeah, no available, dude. Like, GKB got one.
I saw it.
Yeah, he was like, apparently there's like lines for this shit, like all over. Like it's like the Wii. You would have to camp out or something, or get there early.
I think in a few weeks the hype's gonna go away.
See, my whole thing, and this is what she will
dude.
put on.
Look, the hype won't go away this year because this is going to be the hot Christmas gift. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it is. Let me tell you something, guys. I will say this:
Barney for adults.
Exactly. Live said it best. Live was like, "Yo, this is just a gimmicky little thing." And this. Here's the thing, though: $60, 30 games. Shit's the size of a what? It's the size of a McDonald's cheeseburger. My point being is, it's you know what I mean. You take it out of the box, you throw it in a stocking stuffer. People fucking they flip their shit on Christmas Day to pull that out.
Wow.
And you know what I saw that was really cool? And anybody, please do correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I saw it on GKB's Console Corner channel. But you can hook this bad boy into an iPad, right? I mean,
as long as you have, because it had, I believe so, because. Or I don't know. I know it has HDMI,
or
but
a tablet of some sort.
Yeah, because it has the power thing is just mini USB,
right?
So you can hook it up to I guess whatever.
You can use a tablet of some sort, maybe not an iPad, but a tablet of some sort, which is kind of neat because now this thing is really small. It's really weightless. If you're on the road forget the road, fuck the road. Let's just say you're on an airplane, whatever you're playing. You can actually play all those Nintendo games on your tablet in front of you. With really very little wires or fumbling. There's a little niche to this thing, and I think for $60, the Christmas stocking stuffer, it's huge.
Yeah,
but you know what? If they made
go ahead. No,
I was gonna say,
go ahead.
Nah, you go.
Jinx, you both owe each other something. An NES Mini.
Right? I was just saying that this item is really for adults. Absolutely. Like no kid wants this.
My kid don't want it.
No, I mean their cell phone games look better than this shit. So
my kid wants. He said he wants an Xbox Live Gold membership. He wants Madden. He wants Minecraft.
Tell your kid to call in M&C Mornings, and he can.
There you go.
Yeah, but you know what this is? It's really good for Secret Santa. This a kill for Secret Santa. And that's where I can see a lot of people buying it for shit like that, like little Christmas gifts for your brother or something. But like, oh, you remember when we used to play Nintendo? People will flip out for it. They might play it for like five minutes, but just getting this, it just brings back those memories when you were like 7 years old.
Here's why I want it, because it's like I said, it's the HDMI stuff. If I wanted to record stuff off that, it'd be super easy to do. Like, there's no way to record off an actual NES.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not without some old
tag
school
you,
shit.
man.
Yeah. Well, they don't. What happens is you can post whatever Nintendo footage you want, but any monetization goes to Nintendo. So I mean, you can still post it. They're not gonna take it down. You're not gonna get a strike. They just monetize it for themselves. But anyway, basically, I want it because those games are fun. You chill, you can relax to them. You know what I mean? It's it's good fun. Like Mario 3. Mario 3 is probably still one of my favorite games. I could beat that game in 35 minutes.
Fun.
35 minutes? Nice.
Yeah, you get the warp.
If they make a Super Nintendo Mini,
they probably will. They probably
I'll definitely get that. I will be in line for that.
Look how popular this thing is, right? Like this thing, if Nintendo is smart and they are good at making money, and they're doing the same thing with the Switch, they're like, that's going to be a hot item. We're only, we're going to have limited supplies. They're only making 2 million of these things at launch. 2 million. Right? So you think this thing's hard to, people are going to, and if this thing's priced right, that thing's going to go through the roof. This is going to be the Wii all over again.
Crap. Now let's talk about that for a minute. I know normally Nintendo's a podcast killer, but I don't think it is in this case with Switch coming out. And we're talking about this. We are talking about how a $60 item is definitely a great stocking stuffer. A lot of rumors are coming out. We have Reddit pages and unofficial leaks saying that the Switch is going to be $299. Why didn't they launch this bastard at the holidays? March is not necessarily, I think, the biggest, selling point as far as the console.
You have, I don't know. I mean, you got all that stuff. Not only that, I guess, I have no idea. Like, Nintendo does weird things. Like they never lowered the price of the Wii. Like that blows my mind. They ended production of this damn thing, but they never lowered the price during its life cycle. Like that makes absolutely no sense to me. No sense to me.
You know what's crazy? Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
That's what it comes down to.
This shit just came out and it's sold out already. And PlayStation came out what?
Okay, so we got a new group here, and if everyone's noticing, Clowns had to go. Clowns had a short time time with us tonight. He's got family events and things like that. So thanks for joining us tonight, clowns. It is a late evening. Real quick, now, we've asked other folks. I've not asked Xbot. I have not asked Live, and I haven't asked Bam. I know Crap's answer already. Are any of you three buying the Switch day one?
Yeah.
That was a good one, Mooch. No,
Hey, look,
No,
that was a good one.
my whole thing with the Switch, and for people who like it, everybody has opinions, and if you like it, you enjoy it, more power to you. My whole thing is when the Wii U came out, one of the biggest gripes was the tablet controller, and there was a lot of people complaining about the tablet controller. So what does Nintendo do? They're like, all right, we're listening to your complaints. You know what? Our next console is just going to be a fucking tablet. I just don't get it.
I do. First of all, coming from the consumer standpoint and the consumer grieving portion of the Wii U, Xbox, your case is amazing. But as far as Nintendo's not. We don't need a third competitor in the Xbox PlayStation power struggle. You know what I mean? What are they going to come out with? A 0.2 terabyte console that's stronger? Nobody gives a shit. These two companies are fighting for that. They don't need something that's that strong. Here's my thing, okay? We say it all the time. We've said it 3 times on Tonight Show. I'll say it again. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And the one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to deprive the kids of Zelda, Mario, and Metroid. And then there's all the other games that Nintendo makes, but those are their core. And my kids are still young. I think it's got
like the Castlevania, which is pretty good.
That too, exactly. I listen, you guys can bust my balls, no doubt. I've said it on other podcasts. I'll say it again. I'm buying Switch day one. Am I buying it for me? Not really, but I'm going to enjoy it. I tried enjoying the Wii U. I thought the Wii U was a bit of a letdown. I didn't care for the tablet. Now, the tablet in this case, Xbot, I'm with you. Still not going to like the tablet. I'm not going to like a tablet because it has more Ps. So my whole point is, though, now I can dock it. I can play it. It better be 1080p on my TV. And I don't want to lose the next cycle of Nintendo games. I mean,
well, Mooch, I have 9-year-old twins at the house, and they love Nintendo. They play the Wii U and everything like that.
Okay.
I look at how they treat their stuff, and I'm trying to kind of teach them to be better with their electronics and stuff like that. I am not handing them over this tablet that if they break the tablet, we have to go get the whole thing again. You see what I'm saying? I'm not. That's in my house, man.
But here now, and don't get me wrong, I respect that. I always respect any parent's wishes in their home. So my comments are not to Xbox because I respect his opinions. But I have a 7 and a 4-year-old. They both have iPads, and let me tell you something. These kids, they know they're not getting another one. So they walk around holding that shit like it's the cup of Christ. Listen, I'm telling you right now. What I'm saying is, okay, if they will get the same stern speaking to that I did with the iPads. If they drop this thing, it's a wrap. It's a wrap because I'm done. I'm done with it. The only thing they can hope for after that is a docking station. Docking connector is still okay, where the tablet's kaput, but I can still dock it and play the bad boy off the TV. Once but that's it. So yeah, this isn't a. They need to learn that this is the way it is. Now we all have phones. Listen, we are all people. Okay, everyone, no matter how great you are, I don't care if you're an Olympian or a putz. Either way, we've all dropped the phone here or there.
I got run over, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? But hear me out. You guys remember 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago? Let's even go back 5, 6 years ago. Almost every other person you saw when you were out at a bar or whatever had a cracked screen. I mean, everybody had a cracked screen.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the technology's gotten better. But number two, people stopped dropping this shit because people realize that every time you drop a phone or a tablet, that's $300.
Either that or get a case for it.
Or you get a case.
I had to buy a new $30 flip phone every time that happened, bro.
Oh, crap.
I told you. You were like my uncle. Budget life.
You know what's funny? We had an age discussion on BGST last week, and Crap was like, don't put me at 38. I'm 34. Meanwhile, Crap is older than everybody in the soul category. He's like 85.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I'm 30.
Hey, congratulations. Thanks.
Yeah.
No, look, man, just for me, you use shit until you can't use it anymore, man. That's how I am.
Yeah, that's what my grandfather said when he held onto a fucking thing of saran wrap for 30 years. Take it easy, Crap.
Yeah, but far as
Help
that
the economy.
Nintendo Switch go.
Well, here's the thing,
That's-
Bam. Listen, Bam, I get you. Your answer is justified as well. You said no, hell no, and I don't blame you. You're a single guy. You're 30. I don't see you spending Friday night at home fucking jumping on turtle shells. My
Dude,
point
didn't you
is,
see the Switch commercial? He could go take that and play basketball.
or you can take it to the airport and meet that blonde chick. Listen,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways to mingle with that Switch, but no, for real.
It sound good, but nah. That's like you going back to the division.
Oh,
And I don't see that happening.
Oh, hell no.
You know I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Live, are you picking up a Switch?
What?
Crickets.
Listen, I don't know if I could justify to myself picking up a Switch, and I don't think it is. I don't know. I mean,
Live, you're on family start right now. You got your foot on the gas. You're gonna have those kids in no time. Once all this starts,
oh yeah, I'm afraid.
Don't you think? Don't you
wish
see
that on
something?
me, Mooch?
Hey, sorry about that, brother. Hey, that's that biological clock ticking. That ain't Mooch. But listen, here's my whole thing. Here's the
headlock. I be running sometimes.
Every man does that. Listen, what I'm saying is this: when you got those kids, you know you grew up playing some of those Mario games and all that. Don't you think that that's something you're gonna end up having in your house for the kids to experience? If it's not a Switch, it'll be the Switch 2 or something like that.
Yeah, probably at some point.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, when it comes to the kids, sure. Because I would like to have something that, they know that is theirs versus something that they know is mine.
Right.
Like, that's your shit. Don't touch daddy shit.
Damn, I'm looking at these damn games on this NES Mini, and I'm thinking, I wish I would have got one.
What are they? Can you please read a few off? Because I don't even know.
Like it's they got Mario, the original Mario Brothers, Mario 3, The Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong.
See, I own all those. I have those right now in the house.
Mega Man 2, Pac-Man, Final Fantasy.
I got that.
Metroid, Kirby's Adventure, Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden, Super Mario Brothers 2, Dr. Mario, Punch Out.
Got it.
Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong Jr.
Punch Out classic.
Got it.
Zelda 2, Excite Bike.
Got it.
Ice Climber, Kid Icarus.
Don't have Kid Icarus. I always borrowed my buddies.
Double Dragon 2.
Aaron Greenberg, man, looks crazy as shit right now wearing that.
He's wearing the onesie.
Did you guys? I saw that. I saw that.
He looks like he's on the set of fucking the Willy Wonka movie when they wear the fucking thing with the glasses.
Oh shit!
Hey! In 4 days is the 15-year anniversary of Halo. What's the chances of Halo 3 anniversary getting announced?
Oh,
yeah, go ahead, Xbox.
Scorpio.
Ooh, see, I was aiming more towards E3, but damn, man, it would be insane. I wouldn't put all my chips in that basket. Maybe that content drop with the classic playlist, because they didn't really reveal a date for it for Halo 5. Maybe they'll reveal that, give details on that, and when that's coming out, possibly on that day.
Oh, you know what they could do is bring back classic Halo 3 weapons.
Well, dude, they're coming out with a classic playlist on Halo 5, and a lot of people are trying to speculate exactly what that means. I think they're trying to kind of relate more to what I call the Halo purists out there that want that Halo 3 over and over again. I think they're creating a playlist where you don't have the Spartan abilities and stuff like that, kind of tweak some of the maps to be able to be put in that playlist. And I think they'll continue.
Yeah, only the hardcore gonna play that. Once I can't run no more, I'll be pissed.
Well, they'll continue that over time with all the future Halos as well, just to kind of keep those purists somewhat satisfied. Me myself, I know they're all about options, and that's all well and good. I'm not sure if that is the best idea though. But that's just my own personal opinion. I feel like they've evolved Halo enough. Just keep going with what they're doing now. Yeah. But I could see them announcing that. As far as like the Halo 3 anniversary, though, I think they're going to hold on to that for a bit longer.
Are they doing an event for this 15-year? What are they doing?
I don't know. They're teasing something. I just saw something come across my Twitter feed. Okay. So, yeah,
something's going down.
What's the date on it, crap?
Me and you could go on Twitter like crazy. Like, see, we told you.
Yeah, it's the 15th. November 15th is the 15-year anniversary. So hard to fucking believe that 15 years ago.
I know.
Halo 1. Jesus Christ.
That is crazy.
Oh.
Hey, speaking of crazy, let me ask you guys a question before we start to get wind down for this evening. Which game would you say coming out this fall? I'm going to give you two. Would be the wins the Who Gives a Shit award? Would it be Dishonored 2 or Watch Dogs 2? Which one of those do you
Both
think
of them are pretty big. Who gives a shit? But I would say Dishonored 2 is bigger. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, Dishonored 2 would win it for me, even though I think Watch Dogs 2 isn't worth the shit it was printed on.
Yeah, but check this out. Like Dishonored 2, they apparently the devs decided to be lazy as shit with the Xbox One version. It looks all muddy and gross, anyways.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Tim, I actually wanted to play that too, man.
Hashtag lazy.
I actually wanted to play the Watch Dogs 2. I want to see how that's like.
That's actually
Dishonor.
more interesting.
I
Watch
have no
Dogs
interest
2.
in Dishonor.
Watch Dogs 2 will be a game that I pick up for $20 next year sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Where you hack a light, you drive through it, you hack a radio, you listen to
They
it.
didn't sell me on it though.
What
Like
the
the
fuck are they
wearing a horse
doing,
head,
man?
wearing a horse head, and then
Who gives?
like I didn't like. It just seemed like I don't know. Maybe I'm too old for that because
You're
it's-
a
Yeah, but I won't be
renegade.
rushing out to go get that. I ain't rushing out.
I got no. I'm looking more forward to Mafia 3, even with its glitches. Playing
That's
that.
it, yeah.
I like Mafia 3. I like that game a lot.
I can see.
I know a lot of people are like saying, "Oh, it's glitch." Like for me, there was a couple issues here and there, but it's not awful by.
I
any
am
means.
shocked they
That
haven't
story-
gone back in though, crap, to repair anything. It's been quite some time now.
Didn't they update? They might have
They
updated it.
it.
I don't.
I thought they
yeah.
updated it day one. They haven't gone back in. I heard.
Well, I think they're working on some of the major patches or whatever, but that is a very going to end up being a very underrated game, even though it's sold very well. So I'm glad it sold well. I just think that it's got a great story to it, and
Yeah.
I think like everybody should enjoy that game because it's fun, something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It
definitely
do look
get
fun.
at some
It do look
point.
fun from the videos I saw.
There's a lot of great sales coming
Not
up.
only that,
Everybody.
I love the music in that game because I like
Yeah, the
60s
music's
music
great.
anyway.
Yeah, so do I,
It's,
so do I.
it's like that. That's
No,
phenomenal.
The music's fantastic. The reason I brought it up was Mafia 3 is rumored to be $30 on Black Friday. I think Titanfall 2 is $35. There's another game for $35. A lot of these new games that just came out less than a month ago are half off. I mean,
Yeah.
you can get 2 for 1. I mean, it's 2 for 1 for all practical purposes. So, I mean, if it's something that you've been waiting to get to pounce on, scoop it up. But that's why I said the Who Gives a Shit award has to go to, number one, Dishonored 2.
Even though Rand just beat that game and apparently loved
he
it, but
definitely
he's-
put
you know,
that
Yeah,
out.
I
I-
saw him playing it. I saw him playing it, man.
Like
Rand
the
said
stealth
he
stuff
likes
doesn't stealth stuff doesn't really appeal to
Yeah,
me.
it
I
puts
know
me to
you don't,
sleep.
you don't have to be stealthy, but like the first one was just like like it does. It puts you to sleep. It's
It
just
puts
like
me
to
to
me,
sleep,
it's like
man.
yeah, I don't give
It-
two shits
to me,
about
I mean, I played Dishonored, the first one. The story wasn't very compelling. The biggest thing about it was rats. Avoid the rats. I'm like, all right.
I played it
whatever.
for a little while and I got tired of it and I just went to another game.
Sneak around and then somebody doesn't even see you and they're like, there he is, get him. And then all of a sudden you have to like use your powers. It was just it was almost like Thief with powers. And Thief is a game that I would like if you're like a warden at a jail and you just don't want to help any of the people out and give them an Xbox One in the game of Thief and make sure they play that every night. Like they'll be like, I'm so sorry I committed the crime. I'm so sorry. Let me out, please. I don't want to play this shit anymore. So
what y'all think Game of the Year is going to be?
Ooh, is it? It's not too early for that.
Well,
I gotta go. I have to say, this is very.
You already know what I'm going to say.
But it's a Gears of War 4 year.
Yeah, I would
There you
probably
go.
say Gears 4. You know what's weird is that my two favorite games are Gears and Forza. So I know that's very
Yes,
homerish, but
yes.
yeah, those are two great games. I love them.
Mm.
I think they're fantastic.
I
I like, I think you can't take Battlefield
Battlefield.
1 out of the equation either. That's a really
Oh,
good
no.
I am
No, you can't
hooked
take
on
that out.
Battlefield 1. Yo, I do have to say, shout out to Dark Optimus because I was talking about, man, I tried to mooch that game.
Artemis, what's up?
I really couldn't swing like picking that game up, and Optimus was in the party. He's like, well, what one do you want? Do you want deluxe or do you want regular?
Oh,
And I was like,
Yeah.
what? And before you know it, I had a code coming to me on Xbox Live, and it was the deluxe edition of Battlefield 1. So, big shout out to Dark. Dude, that he gave me one of the best experiences this year for me in video games. I am absolutely hooked on Battlefield 1.
that campaign is really good too.
Dude, yeah.
Mhm.
Man, it doesn't glorify war. It shows you like the severity of it and stuff like
You
that.
just die. That's basically it. You're screwed.
Yeah. Dude, it's an awesome game. It looks good. It plays good. I have a blast going in on multiplayer with Fox, with Remix, with Dark, and just having a real good time playing that game, man.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt that Battlefield 1 has got its strengths. I mean, I wish it's just unfortunate. It's just not my calling card. I like it. But I don't have that kind of time to dedicate to it.
To be honest, Battlefield's not bad if you play the quick matches, like the team deathmatch and domination and shit like that. Like what takes forever is Conquest. Conquest is you're gonna have to fucking pull an hour out of your time, your life to play that mode, because it takes a while to load up for 40 whatever or 60 whatever people, and then you have to go through like 3 to 4 maps.
And the problem is that's the best mode though.
It is the best mode.
It is.
But it's like the most in-depth war type, because team deathmatch is like, was it like 12 versus 12? So
yeah, it's much smaller. It's much smaller. But yeah, if you're looking for like a true battle experience, that's what I said. Like I wasn't a Battlefield fan. Then I started playing Battlefield 4 a bit earlier in the year with some buddies, and it's like bullets damn near grazing your ass. You're always hitting the ground. You're like, you know what I mean? It's like a real battle. So I get it now. Like it clicked. Battlefield, get it? So it was like, like I was never a fan. Like I told Mooch, I was with him. You fucking walk all around, shit hits you, you get hit with a tank or a plane or something, but that's part of the fun. You know what I mean? Like you get into playing. Like I remember that when I was trying to learn how to fly the helicopters and shit in Battlefield 4, I couldn't get off the ground in that fucking thing. I would go forward and flip over and we'd blow up. It'd be funny as hell. You're just having a good time with it. Yeah. So I mean, like for me, that's what it's all about. But now I can do okay in it. And I like Battlefield 1, but I've been, there's so much going on this year. Like this is quickly turning into like one of the best years I can remember gaming.
Yeah, and guess what, crap? It's not over yet, because a game that I am very, very quietly looking forward to is Dead Rising 4.
Oh yeah,
and
just that fun. Just the
it's the fun fact. It's the fun factor. Imagine all the shit we're doing. Like every night. Like last night, we got on. We played some Horde. Then we played some multiplayer. Can you imagine 4 of us just getting on and fucking putting a crazy costume on and then taking a serious fucking script that they have written in the cutscenes? It's gonna be hysterical, man. It's gonna be absolutely hysterical.
And that's 4-player co-op.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's my next game.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, right, crap. I mean, it is. I from what I've heard, it's 4-player co-op.
I believe so.
But for the people that like have been following Dead Rising, have been playing it since the first one, you're going back to that first town, and you're able to get outside the mall. It's like the whole town.
Yeah, that first Dead Rising was hard as fuck, though.
Yeah,
that time used to kick my ass. I'm like, bitch, what do you mean? It's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Fuck! I don't have enough time to get this fucking stuff. I'm mad as hell.
So let's say Gears of War is pretty much on everybody's list.
Yeah, I would say
game of the year. Unfortunately, when it comes to racers don't win game of the year. But man, Forza Horizon 3
is absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
But you know what the thing that's going to take for as good as Forza is, we know they can add a little bit more to it, and that's the thing that makes it exciting.
Yes,
because it's not like it's maxed out and there's nothing left for it to do. Like if Forza, the only thing they can do is add graphics to it, that shit would just be like, oh well, damn, there's nothing left. Yeah, they're like they could do like a hot pursuit with police. They haven't done that yet. Shit like that would just make it, or like some crazy ass challenges where it's like, Forza's nuts already. But imagine if they had like a challenge where they drop you from a plane, like in fucking Fast and the Furious, and you have to like.
Oh yeah, that'd be some
drive
shit right
your
there.
car off the type of hot air balloons. But you got to make sure when you're driving that you hit off the right side of the balloon so you can land on the next one. Otherwise, you'll crash and burn. But shit like that, like
Playground hire this man. I'm saying,
right?
Dude, that would be amazing.
Well, listen, we're probably going to be talking more game of the year, especially as we start creeping past the Thanksgiving date. I do want to wrap up tonight. It's 10:40. We went in about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, which is 40 minutes longer than I told Crab. Yeah, it's a record low, but it did start so late, and I do appreciate it. I want to say thanks to Clowns. I do think that next week we'll have Jez Gordon on from Windows Central. I was supposed to have him on tonight, but 9 o'clock, 9:30 start time in the UK is a 2:30, 3 o'clock window. It's a lot. So Jez will be here to talk a little bit more about the Windows 10 and the Universal Windows platform and what's going on from what he's hearing in retrospect to Scorpio. We'll talk about a little bit more of that in depth next week. But let's do our outros. Crap, let's start with you. When can we meet up with you this weekend? Oh, Crap's sleeping already.
That too.
Wait, let me give Crap.
We had that last night.
I'm here. Yeah. Let's see. I got a video that came out at 7:30 about
Sabotage.
Yes.
I seen that. Yeah, I seen that.
Before you guys,
before it started.
Yeah. It was about the Last of Us performing worse on the PS4 Pro.
I gotta watch
trash.
that.
Yeah, it's the remaster.
Yeah,
performing like trash. Yeah, and I did my little my crying Jordans on the Last of Us pictures on the thumbnail. It's all good fun. So yeah, go check that out. And then we got MNC mornings this Saturday or Sunday morning, which will be
great.
Cool. Because we have a year of Xbox Live. Maybe this week. I don't know, because I think we should maybe hype that up. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should too. Yeah, we have another year of Xbox Live to give away. We'll either do it this week or next.
Yeah, but either way, we're gonna have some shit to give away anyway. And and then we got BGST on Sunday, and so it should be pretty good time. So
very cool, and thank you, Crap, for joining us tonight. I do appreciate it. I know you have work early in the morning.
Oh yeah, man. Well, like I was working, and then you messaged her. I saw it come across like we're going live at 9, and I was like, Jesus, like you know what I mean?
Well, you know what it is? I didn't want to let people down. A lot of people look forward to it. I mean, we had just under 300 people tonight at one point.
Nice.
And that's coming in late, and that's with people getting late notice that we were running late. So I appreciate the audience sticking with us. Those Mooch Maniacs, man, they are fantastic people. Fantastic.
I seen that list of topics. I was like, shit, this ain't gonna be done in no damn hour and a half. But
yeah, no.
Well,
you know what's funny is those we share a lot of topics with Xbox Nation. I think that's
absolutely.
I recognize that book of topics anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I figured since Crap writes 75-page novels for topics, I'm like, if I steal one page. I wonder if he'll know that page 34.
That one
is small. It is small. Yeah, Crap took it easy too on Wednesday. Yeah. Xbox 448. Where can we find you this weekend, brother?
Of course, every Saturday we have the next podcast, 6 p.m. Eastern. Our special guest this week is going to be B Shadows. It is his second time around. Nice. So we are giving him the takeover effect. So we're going to do
shit now.
B Shadows takeover. I redid all the graphics, everything like that. It's going to be a really good show. So definitely tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Redo the intro. Oh, you know what I do, guys. Come on.
You go balls to the wall, bro.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, Saturday 6 p.m. Definitely check it out.
Very cool.
I make sure I have my soundbar on too when I'm listening to your podcast. Soundbar life.
115 decibels.
ASAP.
Hey, Livewire, where can we find you, man, and promote that channel, bro? Because today you did another great video.
Yeah, it's your boy Live, and you can look out for my 30-minute rants on shit like VR.
Yeah, I heard. I was watching that earlier.
I don't know if y'all been seeing, but a lot of people that have VR tend to try to push VR because they got skin in the game. They don't want the shit to go away. Well, that's your motherfucking fault. You spent that money on that dumbass shit.
Oh, the vomit station.
Yeah, man. But check me out. You know where I'll be.
Very cool, Live. Yo, always good to hang out with you. I'll probably catch you online later tonight. And then we got my boy Bam Bam 1986, the man with the sound bar. What's up, boy? Well, where can we find you, bro? That goddamn sound bar.
Oh man, yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Had fun on here. Hopefully, I can get up on this thing again. But y'all can find me on Twitter, Xbox as XX Bam Bam 86 XX. So
as my father says, the Twitter.
That's Twitter.
Right.
That's great, Live. Yo, man, great to have you guys on. I want to thank Live. Definitely thank Bam for coming on, and especially this late. We never usually run this late. And then Clowns, thanks a lot. And a lot of the usual suspects couldn't make it tonight because of our odd timing. But thanks, everybody. And we will catch you next week at our new time, 7 p.m. Eastern, Crossfire on Fridays. Good night.
We'll have a British guy.
Yeah, British guy.